Hello Internet and welcome to Know Your Combo series. The premise here is simple. I'll try to explain some of the more common commander combos and show you how and when to interact with them. This episode will cover something that's quite well known, at least from its name, Birthing Pod. This green artifact for 3 generic and 1 Phyrexian green mana was banned in Modern over a decade ago, back in January 2015. All due to one simple ability. For 1 generic and 1 Phyrexian green mana, tapping the Birthing Pod and sacrificing a creature, we can search our library for a creature card with mana value equal to 1 plus mana value of sacrificed creature, and then put it on the battlefield. We can activate this only at sorcery speed. This effect grants us unmatched flexibility, allowing us to tutor silver bullets from the deck straight to the field, bypassing any counter magic. The mana cost of Pod is a little bit too high for Vintage and Legacy, but in Commander, this artifact is responsible for its own archetype, and a few game-winning combos. So let's start with those. The most common version of the so-called Pod line requires Naya, that is, white, red and green in our Commander color identity. And it goes like this. Of course, we need our Birthing Pod on the battlefield, along with any creature with mana value 3. For this example, I use Rocco, Cabaret Caterer. Now, we activate our Birthing Pod, sacrificing Rocco and tutoring Felder Guardian on the battlefield. When Felder Guardian enters, he blinks our Birthing Pod, resetting it for another use. We activate Pod again, this time sacrificing Felder Guardian, and tutor Karmic Guide to the battlefield. Karmic Guide enters and his ability triggers. With it, we return Felder Guardian to the battlefield. Felder Guardian enters and once again resets our Birthing Pod. We activate Pod one more time, sacrificing Felder Guardian again, and tutoring Kiki-Jiki Mirror Breaker to the battlefield. Now we activate Kiki-Jiki's ability, creating a copy of the Karmic Guide. The copy triggers return Felder Guardian to the battlefield one more time. Felder Guardian's ability blinks Kiki-Jiki. From here on out we have a loop. We tap Kiki-Jiki to create a copy of Felder Guardian. Copy of the Guardian blinks Kiki-Jiki, allowing us next use. The end result is a very large amount of token Felder Guardians with haste. So we can attack everyone and win this way. That's a lot of game actions, but it works. There's also a Bant or white-blue-green version of this combo that wins in a different way, but it's more mana intensive to pull off. The beginning steps are the same. We sacrifice a mana value 3 creature to tutor Felder Guardian and reset our pod. Then we use Felder Guardian to tutor Karmic Guide, returning Felder Guardian and resetting the pod again. Now the sequence changes. We sacrifice our Karmic Guide to tutor Deadeye Navigator to the battlefield. Deadeye Navigator triggers and we soulbound it to Felder Guardian. Now we use Soulbound ability on Felder Guardian to blink it, and reset our pod one more time with this ability. Another pod activation sacrifices Felder Guardian once again, this time tutoring Peregrine Drake to the battlefield. At this moment we have a Soulbound triggered and Peregrine Drake trigger. We resolve them both, untapping 5 lands and bounding Drake to Navigator. We assembled a combo that needs us any amount of mana that our lands can produce. For 1 and a blue we blink Drake, who untaps up to 5 lands when he returns. To win from here we need some kind of mana outlet, or an X-spell that can be used to win, like Blue Sun's Zenith. As it is in many other cases, there are probably similar lines in other color combinations that can result in some kind of loop that enables a win. But those two are probably most common. However, feel free to post your favorite ones in the comments. I gladly learn about some more BS that this artifact can enable. Before we move to the combo countering section, I think we need to have some honorable mentions here. Birthing Pod ability is not unique. There are other cards that can work in its stead. The most notable one is Vivian on the Hunt. Her +2 ability works just like the pod activation. Planeswalkers are a little bit harder to interact than artifacts, so she can dodge the most direct counters that will be mentioned later. Second place goes to Prime Speaker Vannifar. Her ability is functionally the same. Unfortunately, it's attached to a creature, which means we need some kind of haste enabler if we want to use her in the same combos. Next one on the substitution list is Fiend Artisan. Its ability is more mana intensive, but allows us to skip many steps. The downside of being a creature is still here, but potential upside can be interesting. End of the list goes to the two pod-like spells, Neoform and Eldritch Evolution. Both of those are easier to use than permanent alternatives, but are also a one-time use, unless you want to have some weird mana-intensive chain that includes Eternal Witness and similar effects. Okay, time for the last part of this video. Ways to stop or interact with this specific combo. Let's start with removal. Birthing Pod can be activated only at sorcery speed. That means only during the main phase and only if there's nothing on the stack. That gives us a window of opportunity each time there's a creature ability trigger that needs resolution, like Feudal Guardian's Blink. If we time our removal spell at this moment, we can get rid of a combo piece before pod can be activated again, be it a required creature or the Birthing Pod itself. Other than that, we have our usual suspects of dealing with permanent based combos. Torpor Orb and his friends can turn off enter triggers, shutting down most lines. Stony Silence and Collector Roof can shut down pod completely. We can also use Curse Totem to shut down activated abilities of the creatures, like Kiki Jiki or Soulbound ability from Dead-Eyed Navigator. In addition, Weathered Runestone and Gravedigger Cage will shut down pod tutoring ability. However, the most cute way of tilting a pod player award goes to Angel of Jubilation. On the side note, most of this list will also counter some Birthing Pod alternatives, so keep that in mind. And that's it for this video, it's a rather short one. As usual, like, share, subscribe, and do all the things that algorithm Jesus enjoys. If you have another combo you would like showcased here, drop a comment below and try to sell it to me somehow. See ya in the next one.